Some 8% seltzer shipped right to your house. The peach, the lemon lime, the strawberry shortcake, and the blue raspberry. No carbs, no sugars, no gluten if you give a shit about that. We are live in over 100 stores in Tennessee. More just opened up. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to the Monday Morning Recap, everybody. Brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your first deposits all the way up to $1,000. I'm almost out of money. This year.
It's unfortunate.
Get a recharge.
I was up this year. I know you were talking about your $25,000 goal for the year. It's unachievable.
He definitely didn't hit that this week.
It's unachievable. So
Not
I went
this week, but we're up $900 on the year.
Okay, so
That's
I went
off the pace. That's off the pace.
We're off pace.
I read my total live last week or the week before of what I had in there. I had went back in time, by the way, because I screenshot all these bets for the audience and everything else, and we put them up in Drinkin Bros Sports. At one point, it was up to $16,500. It is now down to just a few $1,000s left because I went all in on the money line of the Giants.
Yeah,
and
not
that
great.
Was, that
Not
was a
ideal.
mistake.
I mean,
That
at
was
least
a
you knew right off the bat.
The Giants didn't even
mistake.
belong in the playoffs.
So
I'm not sure. Like
They did,
No,
but
no,
I
no,
don't-
no, no,
no,
they
no,
didn't.
they
And
didn't.
Daniel Jones does not belong in the conversation that these other quarterbacks are. He's not. He's a tier 3 quarterback.
He's fine.
Boy,
He's pretty average. Like,
I mean,
he's
if you
not-
put him on the Niners, you
So here was my biggest issue, and this is my fault, by the way. I want to tell the audience this is my fault for not doing my homework on this, okay? I've said this conference was dog shit all year. And
you
this
mean the
week-
division?
Oh, yeah, the division. It was dog shit all year except for the Eagles.
The whole conference.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yes, the
that's
NFC.
fair. That's
the
fair.
NFC.
Anyways,
But with
Two
that,
best teams in football seem to be in the NFC.
that's
so-
not even close.
Not
to
even
true.
close. No.
Especially now.
It's kind of close to
It's kind of close.
No.
I'm
No.
feeling pretty good about my Eagles winning the Super Bowl this year.
You should, but not as good as the Bengals should feel right now.
Yeah, I was going to
All
say.
right,
Well, we'll get there. But as far as this Eagles-Giants game, obviously it was a big weekend for this. They put this on in prime time, and they do that because of the
'Cause of
ratings.
markets.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they want the ratings and everything else. This backfired majorly because the Giants were down 28-0 at halftime,
Oh, it was
and everybody
perfect.
turned off the game.
We were
It's
at Woodrow's.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were at
yeah.
Woodrow's. They had the game on, and then they also had the UFC, and then everybody just kind of turned their attention to the TVs with the UFC.
Yeah.
Heads
Yeah.
just turned.
Well,
yeah.
it's like it was a 31-point game. The points that the Giants did score were almost fluky, and it could have been way, way worse.
Way
Honestly,
worse.
Philly, if they pressed, it could have won this game 50-0, probably.
Yes.
But we're elite, and this just proves the Vikings defense is trash, and it's not Kirk Cousins' fault.
I don't.
No,
so
it is.
Here's
It's
what I-
not.
He choked like a motherfucker.
How?
What are you talking about?
He had 2 touchdowns and no picks. He didn't turn the ball over.
Well, hang on. So this is what I'm struggling with because I always try to figure it out when I'm wrong. I always try to figure it out and go back through the fucking web here. With the Eagles, are they elites or have they just not played anyone this year? Because their best win on their schedule, dead serious, was the Vikings.
the Vikings beat the Bills.
But the Bills aren't in it either. So, are the Bills who we thought they were?
No, the Bills stink too.
Well, here's the thing.
But everyone stinks, right? It's
When's-
parody. It's the
when's-
NFL.
We're all jacking off the Bills. When did the Bills make even the conference championship game last?
Last year?
Nope.
No,
they lost.
They lost to the Bengals last year.
No,
too.
they lost to
Or,
the Chiefs,
to
the
Chiefs.
13
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
The most incredible choke job that no one talks about. They lost in the divisional round. Allen hasn't made it as far as Burrow, certainly not as far as Mahomes.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get into that. But I mean, yeah, it's.
But the Bills' problems. Look, they need a better running back for sure.
They also need a better
they need a running back.
defense.
Just one.
They have a pretty decent, I guess, conglomerate at the running back when everybody's healthy, but that you can't count on that. You know what I mean? And yeah, just the same with year after year, it's one side of the ball or the other that gives the Bills problems. For the last couple of years until last year, it was their pass rush was great, their run defense sucked. This year, after Von Miller went out, even the pass rush wasn't all that
Dude,
great.
the Bengals did whatever they
Yeah. They moved the ball at will. Nixon was dicing them up.
That could have and should have been worse. One, there was a blizzard that they played through the entire fucking game,
Which is awesome.
Two, that other touchdown, that motherfucker was in. I hate that rule.
Oh, Chase caught the ball.
He definitely
that's
caught that
so
ball.
goddamn stupid. You've got to control the ball now until death, like into the grave. And
But
hear
then,
you,
like
and
the
it's
Agnew thing, where he takes a step and like loses the ball, that should be an incomplete pass. now.
Yeah.
100%,
If the chase catch is not a catch, Agnew's not
I
a
agree
catch
with
either.
that rule is really inconsistent and dumb. But yeah, you're right. The fucking one that should have been a touchdown, it should have been 34 to 10. But two, without the weather, because the Bengals played in the same exact weather the Bills did, they fucking owned the Bills.
Yeah.
Not just on offense, by the way, which they did definitely. Mixon had a great game. It was maybe that's probably his best playoff game ever. And you can do that when you have Joe Burrow slinging it around like that. It helps. But
the defense was the most impressive to me.
They were all over Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All fucking
So,
day.
What about that offensive line that had a bunch of just got backups, right?
So
Yeah, they got like two fucking rookies and backup on their offensive line right now.
Actually, a listener hit us up because I don't know the Bengals offensive line as well as their own fans do. So a listener actually hit me up about this because I said it on air. I thought the Bills were going to win, but it was going to be under the point spread. So I took the Bengals with the points, and that was fine. But what he told me was these guys were injured last year, and that some of the same guys filled in.
It's two of the two two of the backups. One of the guys is a second-year player, and then one is a 4-year player that's a backup. They were both replacements last year.
Yes,
But
and
this year-
that's what he was telling
this
me,
year
and
it's
I didn't
those
know
two
that.
guys plus
I didn't
another
know that.
rookie, I think.
No,
Yes.
no. They were saying that one of the guys on the Bengals line was a starter for the Texans for a couple of years.
Yeah, but he's back up now. for the
Right.
Bengals.
But
Yeah.
he's not like
Yeah.
he's
No,
he
no.
got experience. Like it could be worse,
yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Bengals are just maybe they're a way better team than we thought, or maybe it's just Joe Burrow's that dude. I think it's a little bit of both, probably. Like
He's that dude.
their defense
that
is their
dude,
defense
yeah.
is better than I thought, but I think that he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Like I understand that Patrick Mahomes does a lot of stuff that normal quarterbacks don't do, but leading the team, like he's doing a lot more with with a lot less, in my opinion. They don't have anywhere near the skill position players that fucking like Hayden Hurst is not the same as fucking
Travis
Kelce. That's not even
but
same
the
fucking
Chiefs don't have a
conversation.
receiver.
The Chiefs don't have a superstar receiver the
I don't even-
caliber of Jamar Chase
I don't
or
think
T. Higgins.
Yeah, I would say I don't even think they have a T. Higgins at this
I don't
point.
either.
Not
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of
Schuster.
slapsticks. Who?
Juju's been pretty
No,
good.
not a receiver, but receiving option in Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Yes,
But Travis
Kelce
Kelce
is a better receiving option than Joe Burrow has.
He had 14
I agree with that.
receptions in that game. Travis Kelce.
You think
Yeah, he's a
Kelce's
monster.
I
It's
guess
crazy.
just for the size. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, if you get them for 1 year, who would you rather have, Jamar Chase or Travis Kelce?
Jamar Chase.
I'll take Kelce.
I'll take
Kelce.
Kelce, I think.
Yeah, I'll
Kelce
take
can make
too.
Kelce can make a bad quarterback good.
And this, well, I guess if it was anybody other than Joe Burrow, I would agree with, but just because of the relationship. But yeah, Kelce,
It's close, though.
It's harder to find a fucking tight end that great than it is to find a wide receiver that's close to where
like
fucking.
There's a lot of
Chase
depth.
is
You can't guard a
probably
tight end.
Yeah.
Chase is probably top 2 receiver.
I mean, we saw that last night with Kittle. That
Yeah.
play Kittle
Tim
made.
and Jefferson.
yeah.
Kittle had what did he have? Like 95 yards, I think, receiving and a tutty last night.
The ball that bounced off his face was good for 50 on that one. But back to the Eagles real quick, and then we'll head to the other games. Here's why I cannot figure out the Eagles. I went through their whole schedule. I've said this division sucks, and it does. I mean, the total, Cowboys scored 12, Eagles scored 7. I mean, 19 points total for this division. Eagles' best win is against the Vikings. Giants beat the Vikings.
Yeah. This ain't college though, and honestly,
It feels like college, though.
it ain't college. And here's the thing: did anyone? I mean,
Does anyone have a good win?
No. What I was gonna say was
Yes,
the
but
Patriots.
exactly my point. So this is where I'm going with this.
Okay.
In the NFC, the Eagles feel like college to me, and so does the 49ers. It feels like college. You're just putting anybody in there, and it feels like the University of Georgia team. You got a couple of Stetson Bennett's. You got good defenses, and then kind of whatever happens in there, and you're hoping to score a shit ton of points. What I can't figure out is the NFC just this bad, or are the Eagles really elite?
I mean, dude, the Patriots throughout their entire dynasty played in maybe the worst division in football,
Yes.
year in and year out.
Yep.
And it didn't affect them because I mean, it's just not. I mean, even Ohio State wins natties when the Big Ten is like down or not that deep or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't think the division matters that much. The Eagles are loaded, and the NFL is just any given Sunday type.
Well,
of
I think the Eagles are also better coached than most of these other teams.
I
right?
think their coach
Which
is
is
outstanding.
Yeah.
Surprising. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when we hired
Sirianni's-
Sirianni, I was like, oh, no.
He maybe shouldn't be comparing Jalen Hurts to Michael Jordan.
Right after the game.
Well,
sure.
no, let him.
But I understand what he's
Let him
saying.
cook, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I understand what he was trying to say. It was like he's not just a great player; he's the leader of the team, and everybody fucking like when he's out there giving people the business, the team rallies around him and does that.
And he
too.
also says he's playing hurt. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said that after this game.
I know that's what he means, but you look,
Dan, are you saying he means he has that dog in him?
He does have that.
we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But
Because all of us called this NFC matchup that's going to happen 10 weeks ago.
yeah, but running
It's the same exact teams that we thought.
When I
Because
was-
it's-
Okay, but like
Because the NFC was so bad.
The AFC, we're like, it's gonna be Chiefs, Bengals, or Chiefs, Bills. So it's the same shit.
yeah.
it
Like, is
is-
there anybody good in the AFC?
Well,
Like,
but-
you can't just say, oh, the NFC sucks.
Well, but here's the difference. I think the quarterbacks in the AFC are elite, and those are the best quarterbacks in the game. So therefore, I'm not really surprised by them. But with Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts, I am genuinely surprised that you're able to go this far.
I get
Yeah,
it. I get
am-
it with Purdy, but Jalen Hurts is because of what he adds with the fucking run game. He is elite. in
Run
this
game
league.
and also just his character.
He makes
But
good
yeah, I mean, if you
decisions.
told me 2 years ago Jalen Hurts was going to take us to the Super Bowl, I would have laughed in your face. Like, I wouldn't have expected it. But he's grown. He's matured. They made a system work for him. We obviously have a bunch of studs. Like, we have A.J.
Yeah.
Brown, Devonta Smith.
I think the Eagles might at this point be the best coached team in football. I mean, just think about look at the game against the Giants. The Giants have they're not that good of a team, frankly, but they're the kind that if you don't play them correctly, it's a really bad matchup for you. And
they couldn't even tackle
the
in this
Eagles
fucking
ran the ball right down their throat all fucking day. Gainwell
game.
had
300 yards.
I'm not
Gainwell
gonna
had 100
annoy
yards.
300
Miles
yards
Sanders had
rushing.
100 yards. I mean, what
300
the fuck?
yards. That's a college
Like,
game.
I'm not going to anoint Sirianni as the best coach in football. Already.
I didn't say he's the best coach. I said that is the best coach team, including the coordinators and the play calling and everything. They don't make dumb mistakes. The reason the Cowboys, I was not very impressed with the 49ers.
I
And
wasn't either.
Not like I think Brock Purdy's good.
I do too, but I wasn't impressed with the 49ers for a totally different reason. It's the coach. And
Yeah.
so if this
It wasn't Shanahan's fault that Mitchell didn't refuse to stay in bounds when he got the
not
first
that,
down.
but if you look
yeah.
at the end of the first half, there was about 48 seconds left. They should have driven to get the field goal. They ultimately got the
did.
field goal, but they were running the ball, and then they didn't call the timeouts properly. That was all fucked. And then the end of the game, it's 3rd and 8, and he throws a swing pass. Even if that guy drops it, you still give Dallas fucking 38 more seconds on that.
We were talking about that. We were watching it between softcore history
And I'm
recordings,
like,
and we were like, "Ooh."
It's Shanahan's bullshit where you're just like, hey, and the thing that got him there was letting Brock Purdy throw,
Yeah.
and he didn't let him throw in this fucking
No,
game.
look, Dallas, Micah Parsons is a fucking stud. You got to account for that dude. But
and
if you play,
Cowboys defense is
it's pretty
incredible.
good.
I think they
But if
knew
you play
was
on your,
wasted.
It's
you,
good,
you have
but the
to,
Eagles' defense is good
It
too.
is, yeah. You have to the Cowboys defense. You have to attack it. You have to attack it. It's not like, oh, they got a great fucking pass rush, so we got to protect more. No, you have to attack more. That's how you fucking beat these guys. We've seen it multiple times. When they get blown out throughout this year, it's because the teams attacked them, not because they protected well and the guys were throwing fucking 10-yard outs. You attack the fuck out of them. And the 49ers have the ability to do it. Purdy's done it in 2 of the last 6
Yes,
games.
yeah.
Or 2 of the last 5 games, rather, where he's put up, at least for their offense, pretty good numbers. And it's not like you don't have the weapons. Ayuk is a number 2 receiver, I guess, and so is Deebo Samuel. He's not a number 1 receiver, but those are
He
fucking.
could be.
Swiss
He's got
Army
a
knife.
he's got a big body, and then you got Christian McCaffrey too, and you have George Kittle, and you put up 19 points. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I think it seemed to me like the Niners definitely weren't getting everything that they wanted to get, but it seemed like
and also playoff football defense usually.
it seemed to me like the 49ers were pretty much convinced that Dallas could not score on them.
which was kind of true.
And,
And-
they just played it safe the
Yeah,
whole game.
Yeah.
Dak
Yeah.
Prescott is not. He's a tier 3 quarterback.
Oh,
as well.
he
Like for some reason, I don't know if this is like a race thing or people are racist. They think he's fast. The fastest he ever ran to 40 was 4.8. That's his like fucking.
Yeah, but I mean,
combine
their
40
best
time.
offense was him just kind of like scrambling and going up the middle.
I mean, yeah.
he was picking
But
up
he
first
can't
downs
do it
left and right,
anymore.
like because they weren't QB spying him. 'cause
Yeah,
they-
he's almost 28. He can't do it anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that leg injury was pretty
and now
gnarly.
this Cowboys team needs to get blown the fuck up. I mean, Zeke is gone now. He's not coming back.
But
Well,
that's for the
he-
best.
That's
yeah,
probably
100% for the best.
Tony
but
Pollard got hurt in the game. so,
Pollard
like-
broke
a
his
fibula,
fucking leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll be back. That's 6 months. He'll be back for the
Right, but that was
Yeah.
like a big part of the game. Like
Sure,
Cowboys
sure.
might even win this game if Pollard doesn't get hurt.
Maybe. I mean, he wasn't looking all that great up until that point, to be honest. But yeah, it's possible, especially towards the.
And I was sweating this because I had a lot of money on the
but
49ers were my bailout game.
I had a lot of money with 49ers as well, and it
I'm
got
not
dicey.
The point of all that was
Because it was -4, and I was like, well, shit.
Oh, I just went money line.
Oh, you went money line?
I
Oh.
was like -190, and I put like
You said 700 to win 5, basically.
like 775.
Yeah.
the point of all that was I think the Eagles are a good team. They came out they have on paper it's a good team, right? And then they came out against a divisional opponent that they played twice already this year and had a good game plan and executed that game plan. That's what good teams do to win games in the playoffs, right? And these other teams like the Chiefs, they were just winging it the whole time. It's
As one does. Mahomes got hurt
Mahomes
really
got hurt in
early.
the first quarter.
That's true, but man, it wasn't like fucking
Yeah, but
That's
Henny led
definitely-
him to a
yeah, no,
99-yard
immediately.
drive.
Mahomes
for
is a
touchdown.
system quarterback.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Proven.
He robbed Chad Henne of his moment.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes a bad teammate.
But aside from that, they didn't look that great either, right? The Jacksonville not
Jack's
having
good.
if Jacksonville had a number one wide receiver on that team, good chance they win this game, to be honest, right? But they don't. They had like 6 drop passes.
A lot
in
of
this game.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of mistakes. And look, you had, because everybody was asking with Mahomes, why sit him out in the rest of the first half and not have him in the second?
Shoot him up.
Yes, I know the answer to that. So
Tore it all.
he literally said to him, look, because that lasts about an hour and a half, anybody who's had it. So as soon as you get it, you got to go live that hour and a half. And if you watch the last 7 minutes of that game, it starts wearing off for Mahomes again. And you're like, oh, shit, dude. They might lose this game. And they started to hand off more, and he was back to one leg. With a fucking high ankle sprain like this, any shot the Chiefs beat the Bengals next week?
No,
Well, home field advantage.
not one.
They had it last
Little
year.
bit of a chance, but I don't think so.
Not one
I
player.
already,
I don't either.
I already put money on the
I mean,
Bengals.
it's plus 2.5 Bengals.
pick 'em.
Oh,
right?
and it's dropped all the way down
It's
to
a pick
1.
'em.
Yeah, it's down to a pick 'em
It's a
now.
pick 'em?
So many people, when the spread dropped last night, just immediately dove in and went all into the
If
Bengals.
they're telling the truth and it's a legit high ankle sprain, that's a 4 to 6 week recovery.
Yeah.
Not 2.
And it's
or
not
if
fun
one.
either.
No, it sucks.
It's
awful.
just
Like,
lingers.
You can put a brace on it to stabilize that, but you're fucking loud. The things that make Mahomes great aren't going to be available to him.
Yeah, he's not Brady where he just stands in the pocket and like he makes, and he's not like overly reliant on movement. Like he,
Yeah.
I think Mahomes can do whatever he wants to do, but right now he is at his best when the defense has to adjust to what he's
Yep.
doing,
Right,
and
but to
To
now
open
he's
up
going
those
to have to.
passing lanes. Yeah.
Even the
Yes.
smaller things like the screen passes he was throwing, he couldn't get the ball to the receivers because he just couldn't go off his foot.
Yeah, maybe he'll do some. I mean, it's like when you throw that pass, you're kind of leaning backwards, then you push forward off your back foot and throw the ball off your throwing hand side. So maybe he gets comfortable doing it over the next week, just
Yeah,
dealing
look,
with the pain.
I mean,
of
towards
doing
the
it.
end,
I'm not
too.
gonna
You just
Game-
kind of have to adjust and throw a little harder or higher, right?
The game-winning touchdown was a jump pass. So
Yeah.
A jump pass
Off his
off of
left
the
foot,
other
yeah.
foot. Like
Yeah.
he can do. He's a fucking magician.
100%.
So
he sees the field like nobody else
Yeah.
sees the field.
So honestly, there might be value in a Chief. You might be getting value on the Chiefs, if with the line dropping.
I mean, certainly if you were planning on betting the Chiefs, still bet them because
yes,
the
but
value is still there.
they do have a
I'm not-
Bengal
And-
problem.
And then
not
Andy
gonna do
Reid
it.
is one of the best offensive minds in the history of the NFL. I'm hard pressed to believe in this playoff game that he's not going to figure some
but he's
shit out.
really good at losing conference championship
Very
games.
good. We lost 4 in a row,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So I think the Bengals are going to win that game, to be honest.
I do too.
I think.
And it's not just because Mahomes is hurt. I think even with a healthy Mahomes, I think the Bengals have a pretty good shot because their fucking pass rush is something else.
Burrow's on fire. The defense is figuring it the fuck out.
Name one edge rusher from Cincinnati. Name one.
I can't.
Yeah, but they've got one of the top fucking pass rushes in all the NFL. How is that possible?
I don't
That we
know.
that they don't have a premier dude there.
It's wild to see. So coming out of this side here, because it's Bengals and Chiefs, all of this will be pinned on Mahomes' leg here, and I don't I don't know how you get through that injury. I've got Bengals in that. Well, I mean, the Toradol, when do you give it to him then?
Chad Henne comes in.
Yeah, but when
It's not
do
about-
you give it
It's
to
not.
him?
It's not about the pain. It's about the swelling, right?
Right.
Like game day, you can go in there and get it wrapped up, but two days later, delayed onset muscle soreness is it's DOMS is what it's called. The reason it happens like that is because of the blood, because of the lactic acid. Now maybe there's some new fucking miracle drug that can push lactic acid out of a fucking contused area faster than you used to be able to, but it's not 1 week for a high ankle sprain. There's no way.
Yeah,
like that
the
tendon.
pain's
is
gonna be
swollen right
okay.
now.
He'll get used to the pain. The stability is just what's gonna fuck him.
And it's going to be short or overthrown passes typically, right? Because that's what it fucks with. It doesn't fuck this way. It fucks up and down.
And
so,
the Chiefs don't have a good enough run game to rely on to where you're just going to
I mean,
hand off the
Pacheco's
ball
been
the whole
pretty good.
game.
I mean, look,
he has.
It's not necessarily about their run game. It's about Reed's screening or scheming, I should say. Like that is, it's just about the game plan, right? Anybody can run the ball under the right circumstances. I think more so than you can pass the ball under the right circumstances.
Now Mahomes will be, if they're able to squeak through this, which I don't think they will. That's still going to be an issue for him in the Super Bowl. Like it's only 3 weeks away.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not going to get better all of a sudden. A high ankle sprain is 4 to 6 weeks.
And you're
minimum.
playing on it. You're gonna aggravate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as it's interesting because most of the great young quarterbacks were in this round, except for Herbert, I guess, right? Like
Herbert was in it. They
no,
lost
in this round,
opening week.
In this
oh,
round,
yeah.
So like Hurts, who everybody's on his dick, Trevor Lawrence, Mahomes,
Danny Dimes.
fucking Burrow,
I've never
Allen.
been high on Danny Dimes.
Well, all right. Name a fucking giant receiver.
I know.
Because
Look,
they have no weapons.
and I
except
agree.
Saquon.
I think for Danny Dimes, the jury's still out just simply because there is no receivers there. I mean, the top receiver I think was a guy named Ricky James, which I've never heard of in my entire life. I think he was a punt returner maybe. And that was their top receiver. So
He's fast. He's fast.
Yeah, he's fast, but
You can say the same thing about the Cowboys, though, other than CeeDee Lamb, who was their fucking.
CeeDee Lamb's a stud.
Yeah,
He
CeeDee
is,
Lamb's
but you need more than one.
He's a one. Michael Gallup, dude.
Gallup's good.
Gallup's
Yeah.
really fucking good.
Gallup had like 400 yards
and then
on the season.
Schultz,
What are you talking about?
Schultz is pretty. Well, he was hurt, so he only played the last third of the season. But Schultz is pretty fucking reliable, except for the last two plays of that game.
Oh my
Like,
Going
God.
backwards, costing him.
where was his mind at?
Dude,
I
that
don't
was the dumbest fuck. It was like 2 Bill Buckners in a row. Like,
Wasn't that bad?
Bill Buckner got a bad
Wasn't Bill
hop, though.
Buckner.
Yeah,
This
true.
dude grabbed the ball, took one step, and fucking jumped out of
How do you
bounds.
not drag that foot?
Well, actually, what I was gonna say to, I think I was saying it to you guys last
Michael
night. I was
Gallup
pretty
played in
drunk.
14 games this season.
Did he really?
He had 424 yards.
How many catches?
39.
But either way, that was the funniest play in NFL history.
Oh, that was bad.
The
man.
last play.
the last play of the game.
But that's what I'm talking about when I think
What
about.
was that? Why
when I
was
talk-
Zeke got trucked?
That was the last play.
Why,
as a Cowboy.
why was Zeke in there?
He had to snap the ball in case he was like for the pitch.
No
For the la-
need.
in case there was a lateral.
No need. There's 11 guys on offense. No need for any of that stupid shit.
but yeah, that's-
just put your center in
When
there.
I'm talking about great coaching and how Mike McCarthy's the worst coach in the NFL, I've been saying this all year. I've been saying this since last year.
He's
actually.
not the worst coach, but he's
He's
not
up there.
good.
Now that Urban Meyer's not in the NFL, Mike McCarthy is currently the worst coach employed by an NFL team.
With a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers have something to say about that.
Oh, I do. Look, Staley's up there as well, and they should fire him, and I'm with you. All right, well, what do we do about this Eagles-49ers game? I've been convinced.
Eagles all day. Eagles are going to fucking smoke the 49ers.
I think-
So I've been convinced that the 49ers were all in, going all in. After this game, though, with how shitty Shanahan was and how he didn't trust Brock Purdy, now Brock Purdy's got to go into Philadelphia with a coach that doesn't really trust him. Like, if he lets it loose, yes, but I don't know if that he will.
The 49ers beat up on teams that don't have both a good run defense and pass defense, right? They beat up on those teams. That's the only time they ever score. If you can shut down one or the other, they're fucked. They'll score 15 to 20 points maybe.
I don't know.
right?
They've been putting up points and yards with Purdy. Purdy, I believe, since he's came in, they're like averaging 150 yards more. with
Oh,
their
yeah, yeah.
offense.
I bet the over
Not
in this game,
game.
simply because
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, but again, this is the playoffs, right? Defense usually reigns supreme in the playoffs.
I don't think they can rely. I think like in the Cowboys game, they relied on the fact that they were like, we can beat this offense. Like this, they're not going to score that much.
And the
on us.
Cowboys, if the 49ers
What
are
does
the
that
best
mean,
defense
though?
in the
You
league,
think
the Cowboys
the
are
offense
too.
didn't try as hard? What do you mean?
The 49ers offense. I think they were. I
Because
think
McCaffrey had 10 carries for 35 yards.
I think I learned. Yeah, the Cowboys defense is incredible. And I think the 49ers knew that it was going to be a defensive struggle, and they were okay with that. But they can't rely on suppressing the Eagles' offense. Like, they're not going to hold the Eagles to under 20 points.
No, they're not. But the Eagles' defense can certainly hold the 49ers' offense to.
And that's what I'm saying.
Points.
So I don't like the 49ers in this game at all. I like the Eagles in this game. What is the line?
That's what I'm saying.
2.5.
It opened at 2.5.
When the
Eagles
49ers have
2.5.
success like that, there's some very obvious flaw on the other team. There's no flaw on the Eagles, so far as I'm concerned. Like, there's some people that are banged up and shit.
There's no glaring situation.
Yeah, there's not. They don't. It's not like the Bills where pass rush is pretty good, but their run defense sucks, and that's been the case in Buffalo throughout this entire latest run of theirs. The Philly doesn't have that problem.
No,
they're pretty buttoned up.
Yeah.
Deepest rosters in the league.
And honestly, if the Eagles don't win this game by 2 scores, I'd be shocked. Like 10 points at least.
San Francisco.
We're not winning by 2 scores.
San Francisco has the very best defense in the entire National Football
Every
League.
defense gets exposed if they're on the field too long, right?
They do, but man,
And if McCaffrey's only averaging 3.5 yards a run, and Elijah Mitchell is also around the high 3s, low 4s, that ain't going to get it done for them. That's not the offense they have.
Our defense isn't the Cowboys' defense. It's good, but it's not the Cowboys' defense.
But your offense is better.
Yeah, but the 49ers are going to put up points too. I don't expect this to be a low-scoring game.
I don't either, but I don't think that I think the 49ers have to keep you guys under a certain amount of points to win the game. Like, obviously, like it's just they can't rely on one side of the ball.
What was the score in the Seahawks game? It was 38-31 or some shit for the 49ers, I think.
No, they beat the shit out of the Seahawks.
I thought it was
The Seahawks were leading
38-31.
at the half, like 18-17 or
And then
something
they
bizarre
didn't
like
score.
That was last round, right?
that. Yes,
Yeah.
that was
they
last
kicked
weekend.
the shit out of the Seahawks.
It was
They put like
41-23, yeah.
man, I mean, I'm looking at some of the scoring here for the 49ers, and that's what I was shocked about because, again, I teased down the over in this game and lost at like 35. But, I mean, just looking at the points, Cowboys average 35 points a game. So I was like, all right, even if you cut that in half,
Two
fuck
best
it.
defenses in the league, man.
But here's the thing. The offense for the 49ers, 37, 44, 31, 38, 33, 35, 37, 37, 38. They've scored a lot of points
This is a
this
shit
year
ton for the NFL.
Against what teams?
against the NFC. So that's where I'm stuck.
That's a lot of
That's
points
where I'm
for-
stuck with this game.
I
That's
guess
just the NFL,
if you're look, I think the Eagles will probably win this game easily, frankly, but the over is 45.5. Definitely take that. They're not going to hold it that low. It's both of these teams are going to score in the 20s for sure.
I think so.
45.5. I could see a 24-21 game and you losing by a half point.
Maybe.
This feels like, to me, like 35-28 or something like that. Or 30, like maybe like 35-25.
Get your college brain out
I'm
of
not
the NFL.
college brained. Stop! Don't say that to me.
This is where I it's rare that I'm stuck on a game. I feel pretty goddamn confident that the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Nah,
I really do.
it's Cincinnati. That's not going to happen.
They were one
It's
play
Joe-
away last year.
It's Joe Burrow, man.
One play
It
away.
is Joe
last-
Yeah, they were
Burrow.
like a Hail
And guess
Mary
what? They
away.
lost to the Rams.
Rams were fucking good
I
though.
know.
I mean,
Yeah, they didn't lose to this year's Rams.
yeah.
I know. They were our Super Bowl pick. We picked
They had
the Rams
Aaron
last year.
Donald
but it's
and
still
Von
the
Miller in their
Rams.
pass rush. It's kind of hard to beat that.
They've got Aaron Donald, and to me, the way Burrow's playing in Mahomes' injury, I just think the Bengals are going to win the entire Super Bowl.
I like.
I don't know who they're going to play is the problem. Like I don't.
I hope
know.
it's the Eagles because Bengals-Eagles Super Bowl, maybe not for the ratings or whatever the fuck, but that's the most exciting game out there.
be
Right
I
now.
can tell you, Benny does not want the Bengals.
No, nobody does.
Those are cheaper tickets for us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
cheaper
Yes,
ticket.
it is.
Well, maybe. Also, every toilet will be full of Cincinnati diarrhea.
Oh, yeah,
like
big
it's
time,
just
yeah.
the chili going in, chili coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be. I mean, Chiefs-Eagles would be great too if everybody's healthy, but it's nice.
But
to see
they're not.
It's nice to
And
see a new
like-
face in there.
And like the people of Cincinnati, it's like a distant cousin of
yeah.
Philadelphia.
And I'm a big fan of fucking Joe Burrow specifically. I don't care about the Bengals, but they pre-sold a bunch of tickets for a Bills-Chiefs neutral site game, and he's like, "Hey, better get those refunds, guys."
Yeah.
That's the first thing he said in his post-game interview.
That was great.
You and every woman in America right now just soaking their panties over Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Rightfully.
I thought they were dead at the beginning of the year. This team started off 1-4.
Yeah, something like
It's
that, yeah.
so.
And then they've won
But imagine
11 in a row.
Imagine if the Eagles had a quarterback.
Imagine
But
if
not
we
only
had a
that,
quarterback.
but here's the thing. Look at who they're playing. The
it's
fucking
not
Bengals.
college. It's not college. They're playing other professionals.
No,
Yes,
but they
they're
had to
playing
beat. They had to
pros.
beat Mahomes. They had to beat the Bills. They had to beat the best of the best. Joe Burrow has beaten all the best of the best.
I don't think the
Oh, you
Bills are the
named,
best
you
of the
named
best.
2 teams.
I don't think the Bills are that good.
The best Eagles win this year. Herbert.
The Jaguars? I don't know.
Yeah, they had to beat the Jags. I mean, fuck, they're in there. Who's the best Eagles win? Who's the best 49ers win of the year?
Honestly, maybe the Jags.
Yeah. You know what's
I mean,
interesting?
for real, like who is it? Who is the best win for the Eagles? Who's the best win for the 49ers? I'm looking at
But it's not college. They're beating professionals every week. Like
Yeah.
it's like I said, the Patriots for their entire dynasty, their division was ass, and a lot of the AFC was ass too.
But he had to beat Peyton Manning every single year. And like Peyton was the best there was.
All right, well they beat him in the playoffs. That's fine, and maybe once in the regular season. But like most of their games were against bad Bills, bad Dolphins, and then the Jets. Like they got. Well, how many games is that? 12 or 6? 6. I'm sorry. They got 6 games a year against absolute cushion, like the squishiest division. I don't really care that much. Like it's professionals every week. That's fine to me.
Any
It
given
is.
Sunday.
So let me just go ahead and read off the 49ers schedule here, okay?
Right.
Bears,
Okay. Worst team in football.
Seahawks,
Good
They're
playoff
good.
team.
Yeah.
Broncos,
Stink.
Trash.
Rams.
Bad.
Well, they lost to the Broncos,
Yeah, sure
but nobody really played in that game, right?
did. Panthers, awful.
you know, feisty.
future.
Yeah.
Falcons, awful.
Feisty.
Awful. Chiefs.
The Falcons are not feisty.
The Falcons are feisty. They won 7 games this year,
But
right?
here's the thing. The best team on this whole schedule, Chiefs, they got fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
The 49ers got fucking destroyed.
Pre-Purdy, right?
Yeah, pre-Purdy. And then they played the Rams again. Chargers, Cardinals, Saints,
They beat the
Dolphins. They did beat the Chargers, but barely. That was
But they beat them by
close
8.
game.
They're good ever.
6 games.
Wait, they beat him by 8?
No,
That's not barely.
6
Oh,
points.
6. Sorry, yeah.
That's
sorry.
still kind of
22 to 16.
That ain't 1. That ain't 2.
It
That ain't
came
3.
down to the
Probably
last.
covered.
I watched
Yeah.
the game. Well,
They
I
probably
did.
covered.
They did. I watched the game and I had money on the game. That's why I watched it. I was like,
covered.
yeah. I mean, but 22 to 16. Not. I mean, it's not.
It's
What do you want from
Cardinals,
these teams?
Saints, Dolphins, Buccaneers,
The
Seahawks.
NFL.
The Dolphins are good.
What are we,
That was
what are we
after
doing
Tua.
here?
The
No,
Dolphins-
it's
after
not.
Tua.
Tua played that game.
Also,
He threw 2 touchdowns
The
in the
Dolphins
game.
are still just good anyway. Like they almost beat the Bills with the goddamn fucking
With Skylar
third
Thompson.
stringer.
I think. Is there any question that these are the 4 best teams?
No question. These are the 4 best.
Because
teams.
honestly, if you had to have picked the only one that you may have subbed out at some point would have been Bills for Bengals, right?
Yeah,
Just
but-
because of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But the composition of the
Clearly,
team.
they proved they're better than the Bills.
No, I picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl before the playoffs started. I betted them. Bet
You
them.
loved Burrow, and you said it all year.
I just think like
You said it all year long.
it's one of 2 types of teams that win the Super Bowl. Teams like the 49ers that have just a great team and nobody is taking attention away from anybody else, and they just even with all the stars they have on the team, that's what last year's fucking Rams were. They were a bunch of fucking bruisers that were out to win that fucking game. That's how every team Tom Brady's won with has been. Or it's a team with an outstanding individual player that lifts everybody else around them. Jalen Hurts is a guy like that now too, right? And that's what Sirianni was talking about. He's not talking about he's the best player of all time. He's saying this is the guy when he fucking shows up and plays, his fucking not just the ability, but the mental makeup and character lifts everybody else up around him. And Burrow's the same kind of guy. Right?
I want to be early on this block because no one's saying it yet. But Joe Burrow, in my mind, this is the projection of his career for me.
Okay.
It's John Elway. He's going to keep getting to the title game and lose.
Look,
Until the end of his career.
Cincinnati, that's not
They'll take
a
it.
foregone conclusion. Yeah.
yeah, they'll
Yeah,
take
I
it.
mean,
Not only
like,
that, but
you
they'll
could
take
be
it,
you
yeah.
could be right.
What's
just because of being in Cincinnati. If he was anywhere else,
Yeah,
and then, and then
furious.
he finally gets his title at like 38.
Yeah, whatever. That's
No,
fine.
If he wins back
Yeah.
to back, yeah.
What's interesting to me about Burrow versus like Mahomes that I noticed while watching Burrow fucking pick apart Buffalo is like Burrow is a sniper. Like he just hits the pinpoints always. And Mahomes also incredible accuracy, but like kind of an agent of chaos.
Yeah,
you know
a
what I
little
mean?
bit, yeah.
Like Burrow does all the things right.
And there's something to be said for being able to create chaos like that too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going up against the 49ers, for example, I might lean towards a healthy Mahomes over Burrow in that scenario just because like that's a tough team to beat. And if you can jump and throw off your off foot and still throw touchdown passes, you got a pretty good chance against anybody, right? Whereas Burrow, look, he's the most accurate passer so far in his career. I know it's only 2 years so far, but if he retired today, he would be the most accurate passer in NFL history.
It's fucking crazy.
With all
It's like
that said, though,
77%.
what are we doing with Josh Allen?
He needs weapons, man. Like Stephon Diggs is great.
Well, Diggs was like blowing him up on the
But
sidelines.
then it's like
Dawson Knox is
Dawson.
good.
Dawson Knox is a fucking. I mean, he's okay.
if Gabe
right?
Davis is your 3, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey,
And you have to. Yeah, they had to bring Cole Beasley
Leave
out
Gabe
of
out
fucking
of this.
COVID retirement.
And
You know what
Cole
I mean?
Beasley looked great, which
And
was weird.
their run game is not great.
I think it just comes down to a running back. They have never had a running back there, and I don't understand why. And I said this 11
not
weeks
since
ago.
fucking what's his nuts?
OJ.
No.
OJ Simpson
No.
was the best
Thurman
running back
Thomas.
they had. Nope.
Thurman Thomas
OJ owns
career
all the
numbers
records.
are way better than fucking OJ's.
Look at the juice.
They, I think they had a pretty good running back in the early to mid 2000s as well.
They had. That was the Giants. I was gonna say Barber.
I mean, Marshawn Lynch.
right?
Yeah, he was good. He
But
was good.
either way,
Josh Allen has not had a good running back there. I can't figure it out. When the CMC thing popped up for us, the Bills were the first ones to inquire why they didn't pull the trigger on that. I don't know. And you see what happens with the 49ers.
Allen
Fred
doesn't.
Jackson was there for a while too.
Who?
Fred Jackson.
Yeah, look,
he was
Allen. That's I think it's Allen. Josh Allen doesn't suck at all. Josh Allen is dope, but we need a little reevaluation of his placing on the quarterback.
He's a
list.
tier 2 guy.
He
doesn't. He's a bad decision maker. That's his problem. Talent wise, he's up there with everybody. Decision making wise, he fucking sucks at it.
and he's
a lot of the time.
and
right?
he's at a ceiling right now in terms of progressing through the playoffs. He has not gotten past the divisional round. Burrow has, Mahomes has. I think that's it right now for the dope.
He's the Joel Embiid of the NFL.
maybe.
Who else has made the AFC Championship game in the last couple of years? It was like Brady, but
Brady, Mahomes.
right now it's really just Mahomes and Burrow because
Burrow.
Lamar Jackson hasn't.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Lamar Jackson, posted a picture of himself photoshopped in Washington Commanders gear and then immediately deleted it off his Instagram story earlier today.
no, that's a satire thing that PFT commentator.
I hope so.
If he goes to the Commanders, it's just this league doesn't care about itself.
No.
If he goes to the Commanders,
No.
Well, they have Curtis Samuel, Scary Terry, and Jahan Dotson. And Brian Robinson, running back.
You don't have to move.
That would be
and
a
a
pretty
great
good
defense. They've got a good defense.
That'd be a pretty good team.
You don't have to move.
Yeah.
But would it?
true.
Like,
You
is
got a
that
good defense.
Are two deep threat wideouts really the kind of team you want to throw him into? Does that make sense? I think
Yeah.
That's what he's wanted.
on the 49ers, he's probably better.
But that's what Lamar Jackson has asked for all these years.
I know,
is-
but that's not like you
Well,
have to craft the team around your talent.
his
man.
breakout year was with Hollywood Brown.
That's true, yeah. But one of those guys, right?
No, he
Which
has
the
good
49ers don't have a deep threat
At all, yeah.
At all, yeah. That's their only real weakness, I think. I think Brock Purdy is fine. He's a good enough quarterback to win. They don't have a deep threat, which is why, like, when the front seven can play the box and you don't have a good deep passing game and you're relying on your run, you're fucked, right?
Do you think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Bob?
Oh man, it's really murky to me. I like literally any of these. I don't care about Mahomes yet, right? Quite yet. Like, I need to actually see him play again in the next round. Any four of these teams can still win. Like, I literally, my mind is not made up at all.
Yeah. I'm gonna the Mahomes thing just because of the injury. That's the one that I go for. But I also said the same thing about Hurts. I didn't think he was healthy. Is he still healthy? The way that the coach talked about it, the way that he talked about it after the game.
He's hurt. He's not injured, right? There's a difference. Like, you can play hurt. If you play injured, maybe you're okay, maybe
Right.
you're not.
'Cause
It's different having like bursitis in your shoulder and it hurts when you throw. You can adjust to it a little bit. It's not going to cause you more damage. Mahomes can fuck his legs up, right? Like, he can get permanently injured now. He gets a snap a tendon, maybe not permanently, but it's like
Miss a year type of.
it's an 18-month recovery if he snaps that thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not he'll be back playing before 18 months, but to get back to where you really were before, it's usually about 18 months. and that's fucked.
You could
Well-
permanently damage an asset. Like when you think about this in like the big grand scheme of things, how much is left on his contract?
It doesn't matter because it's all guaranteed.
all
Yeah.
guaranteed.
He also
Yeah.
owns
For the
part of the
company, like,
Royals.
they-
So it's
He owns
fine.
everything,
Yeah.
and he's worth. That's one guy you say is worth every cent.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
So I know this is like unfamiliar like territory for the city of Cincinnati, but I beg you, fine folks of Cincinnati, please don't let this get to your head. It already is. I can tell. Like you went to the Super Bowl last year. You're gonna go to the Super Bowl this year.
Burrow has gotten to mine, man.
Burrow's
After
that-
watching those games yesterday,
For
I was
sure.
like, dude, he's gonna
Yeah,
win the
but
Super
this
Bowl.
is
But, like, they don't
this
know how
is-
to act.
This is decades of Philly heartbreak. This isn't. He's not talking shit. He's just trying to be empathetic.
I'm trying
right
to
now.
warn you guys.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I know it
You're-
hurts, man.
I mean,
It
the
hurts.
Reds haven't had anything since the Big Red.
There's a
Oh no,
re-
they won a World Series in '90.
90, yeah.
Bengals have
Yeah.
never had this success.
No, there's a reason that.
The Bengals
They went,
haven't,
I mean, they
no.
went to
One
the Super
year.
Bowl against the Niners
One
and got
year,
murdered.
yeah.
Boat race.
with
Yeah,
Icky Woods.
what was it, 59-10 or
Yeah.
some shit, like 49-10? I think was the score of that.
It
51-10?
was Boomer Esiason and Chris Collinsworth.
yeah.
Doink. Yeah, so it's like, don't get too.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
There's a reason Philly burns down the city even when they win.
Yeah.
It's just so much
Win or
pent-up
lose,
rage and
win or
emotion.
lose, it's Philly's going to burn on Sunday. But with Hurts, as far as that injury is concerned, perfect game for him because he didn't have to do a lot. When you rush for 300 yards and the Giants didn't tackle one single person, it allows you to get healthy and then just
do what
kinda,
works, baby, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it
was good
It was
for
a
him.
dream scenario for Jalen Hurts
And if he can use
the
his,
Eagles.
I mean, it's a dream scenario for the Eagles to be able to have Hurts able to run as well against the 49ers, to spread them out a little bit so fucking Sanders can get between those seams on the inside.
Also,
I mean,
homie in the chat, I think we all agree the Bengals are probably going to win the AFC.
I don't.
I think the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl.
I'm not convinced the Bengals are going to win.
Why? What did somebody say in the chat?
He's just like saying we're doubting the Bengals and stuff. Like, dude,
I don't
bro, we
doubt
all think that they're going to be
Yeah.
in like the Super Bowl.
I don't
except
doubt the Bengals, and
I
I,
think-
know
I think they're gonna win.
I know they went to Kansas City last year and won in Kansas City, and to go to the Super Bowl, all that shit, 100%, whatever. First off, still the Chiefs, still a road playoff game. Very hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. They have to do all of those things, and I'm not saying they can't. I'm not a hater. I'm just saying the Chiefs are really fucking good still.
He's
I
also
kinda
from the
think-
state of Missouri.
I think this over-under is kind of low, too. It's at 47. This is like a two.
What's the weather?
Well, I think it's because of the Mahomes.
It's 35, but
You
there's
don't
no,
know.
there's no,
No wind
no
or-
wind. I
Yeah,
mean,
but it's Mahomes, and you don't really know how much he's
man,
going to play. Or,
don't ever bet against Mahomes showing up at least and putting some fucking points on the board. They may lose the game, but he's not gonna pull a fucking Dak Prescott.
Delco hit me up when that game was going on about the live line for the Jaguars. I had so much money on the Chiefs. I took a flyer on it and just had a safety.
for the Jags.
Yeah, and I
hedge.
didn't care. Like I didn't care about losing that money because I didn't think he was going to come back at
I
all.
thought it was a great bet.
So did I.
Especially they punt it down to the 1. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
Chad
dude.
Henne's coming in. He's going to turn the
No,
ball over.
yeah.
No. What
Check
the
it out,
fuck?
though. Here's something you didn't remember. Anything is possible.
Anything
Oh, God,
is
I'll
possible.
kill
Oh, boy,
myself
is that
right
a
now.
t-shirt?
So
Is that a
Mahomes
fucking
was
t-shirt?
still 22 for 30 with 2 touchdowns in this game, even though he was hobbling for most of it.
Right.
And to be honest, if he didn't have to come out of the game right then, if that had been a 3 and out or something, and he could come in on the next possession and had time to get it taped up and everything, that Henne touchdown and the 50 yards he got would have been Mahomes as well. He would have done the same thing.
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's
Oh,
also
he's a
worth,
system guy,
It's
so-
worth noting. Now, I know it's the Jags. Where they're like 9 and 8 or whatever.
Yeah, but their pass rush is fucking
Yeah,
good, man.
and-
No, that was a great year for the Jags.
That was-
Peterson's he's got them in the right direction.
That was credit to Chad Henne for that whole drive and everything like that. But like, that was Andy Reid's touchdown.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid's still gonna be on the fucking sideline. Enemy's still gonna be on the fucking sideline.
we don't know. Day to day for Andy Reid.
Anyway, yeah.
Hour to hour with that
Yeah,
guy.
he walks around with a fucking Waffle House menu in his hand. So
Yeah,
he
there's-
could die at any
now,
moment.
is a-
speaking of, well, go ahead.
I was just saying there is a stint in Andy Reid's heart that is just larger than a burnt end, so that burnt ends can travel
just
through
go
his
through,
heart.
yeah.
Let me get to the sponsors real quick, and then
Okay,
we'll
yeah.
we'll pick this up.
Well, Son's also doing
as
a
always, we are brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros will double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. The weekend we got coming up is going to be the most heavily gambled weekend of the year. It always is next to the Super Bowl. And with these 4 teams that are in there, man, I think we're doing the NFL show on Wednesday, thankfully, because I want to put some time into this because It's like Bob said. It wouldn't shock me if any of these teams won.
There's no combination that would surprise me.
No, me neither. And I love that because usually it's not like that. Usually it's some shitty team that gets rolled and then you go in. But we got a spread that's at a pick 'em right now on my bookie. And then we got a spread that's at 2.5, which let's face it.
That is pick 'em for a road dog.
Yeah, exactly.
For a road team to only be at 2.
Yep. That's exactly where it should be set. So this is extremely rare gambling wise. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm going to wait till later on in the week, try to check in on Mahomes and those guys. But if you are confident at home to get the best numbers, go now because it's definitely going to change depending upon what happens or how's the weather in Philly on Sunday. Do we know that yet?
I'm sure it's going to be cold.
Okay.
But I don't think there's going to be any inclement weather.
Let's see what we got here. I got it right here. 37. So 37 in Philly, cloudy.
That's nice in Philly.
Yeah, it's a normal Midwest day there.
That's the low.
And then,
I mean,
at kickoff.
The high
is a kickoff.
The high for Sunday. What time's kickoff?
Kickoff is at 2:00.
Of the day game?
So 1 p or 3 p.m. Eastern?
Correct.
It'll be 50
Like
degrees
50
by
degrees.
then.
That's sick.
Wow, they shoved San Francisco and Philadelphia in the day slot.
No, they're both day slot. The other game's at 2.
No.
Right?
So it's at 3:00 and then 6:30 is the next one.
Oh, I'm reading the wrong
They
one.
wanted
time,
they wanted Burrow, Mahomes. I can tell you why if you want the answer. They didn't want Purdy up there.
That's fair.
You're not putting Purdy in the fucking primetime slot yet? Come on, dude.
You can't put Iowa State at 6:30.
Well, you want to put the high-scoring game at the primetime slot.
Well, you want the best quarterbacks for the fucking thing, and everybody's all in on Burrow. Even the ladies are in on Burrow now. Jesus Christ.
Also, the better announcing crew in the night game.
Who is it?
Well, it's Nance and Romo in the night game.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really? Okay, good.
CBS is the night game.
I don't know if
and
you noticed the past 2 days, there aren't enough great NFL announcers for 4 games in 1 week.
There sure isn't.
Holy shit.
Al Michaels and Tony Dungy was the worst mental experience of my life that I had to end up muting. But again, go to mybookie.com. Bet on these games because the spreads are changing rapidly with everything that's going on there. So if you believe in your teams, and a lot of you do, we've gotten a lot of DMs about the Bengals. Most of mine are filled up with Phillies fans. But go ahead and bet on it now and head over to mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your first deposit up to $1,000. Now, if you want tickets to these games, they are all available at drinkinbrostickets.com. I want to warn you, the Eagles tickets are really, really fucking expensive. So do not hit us up for, hey, dude, I just want to get in the stadium, whatever. The last row in the stadium is going for $572.
It's all we care about.
It's, you know what it is in this one too? It's the 49ers fans. So like even Benny, our partner in the ticketing company, he was very adamant before the playoffs started. He goes, look, I don't want the Bengals in there. They don't travel. They're not going to pay for those tickets. And there's not too many fans for the Bengals, right?
Who day?
Exactly.
I don't know what the fuck does that mean?
It's
By the way,
it's a version of the Saints.
it means it's you ask, you tell somebody like, hey, have you met a Bengals fan? And they're like, no, who are they?
Exactly, and it's shorten it.
Cool.
Shorten
So
it.
if you're a football fan of any sort or a sports fan or a fan of anything in life and you have some little gay catchphrase and you DM it to me or you fucking post it on something or you say it to me in person, I will ignore you for the rest of your life because it's fucking stupid.
It's not a great catch.
Go Birds.
But
You don't actually. Can I hit you with the Missouri Tigers one really quick?
Go ahead.
We got it.
Oh no.
We got it.
That should be
ours
followed.
might be worse.
That was a joke. I
That
just
should
made
be
that up.
followed by a single gunshot wound to the head.
UCF's might be worse.
What is it?
What is it?
Charge on.
No, that's
not
normal.
terrible. That's normal.
That sounds like something a band would say or something.
Yeah.
Not we gotched it or whatever.
We
the fuck
got it.
But with Benny, the team that he goes, look, even if the Bengals fucking make it through, he goes, as long as the 49ers go, he goes, I am good, fam. And I was like, why? Because they spend the most money and they travel coast to coast. They don't give a shit. That is clearly evident in these ticket prices. Holy shit.
I think the 49ers are a nationwide fan base.
They are, but is that back from the 80s and everything else?
80s
Just
and 90s.
success.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 20 straight years.
So one of my
They created the West Coast offense.
Yeah.
One of my fraternity brothers grew up in Westphalia, Missouri, which is just south of Jefferson City. Diehard Niners fan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they are everywhere.
Montana, Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
had to run.
fucking
Jerry Rice,
travel.
baby.
$572. I mean, for the Chiefs, it's $300.
Jerry
Like,
Rice
that's
likable.
normal. Not with that chain he was wearing on the sidelines.
He's not likable.
Why are you wearing a full chain? Now, as a human, I heard he's a pretty nice guy.
He's a
but,
cheater, though.
In what?
Stick him.
Stick them.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude.
Those gloves.
Nah.
What's he doing when
NFL player's got those gloves.
Dwight Howard used it in basketball for some reason.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make any sense. He's just like, oh, Jerry Rice, you
dunk it.
stick him. Here we go.
To dunk it.
No,
He's a compiler.
His hands are the size of this fucking compiler.
He's like Emmitt Smith. He just stuck around way too long.
Who?
I'm
Jerry
pretty sure
Rice.
Jerry Rice's stats are more akin to like Wayne Gretzky stats, where it's
The
like if
most-
you took off half
Yeah,
of the
but, like,
seasons,
I
he'd
just don't
still
like Jerry-
lead
I
the
just
The
don't
NFL.
most
like Jerry
impressive stat with Jerry Rice was like when he was 43. I think he broke 1,000
With the
yards.
Raiders, yeah.
With the
It
Raiders.
was a terrible team, and you were just like,
Right.
No, Jerry Rice is the fucking dude.
I know, but like I refuse to believe it.
What did he even do to you? Were the
Nothing.
Eagles even good when
No.
he was a kid? Like,
No, we were terrible.
Yeah.
When I grew up, we were awful.
What about
Hey, the other part of this on those DMs for Phillies fans, they're like, "Hey, dude, are you just going against Delco?" No, I'd actually because we're going. I think it would be fun if the Eagles made it. That way, you would actually get to see your team because you don't know
a
when
week
this
it'll
type
be.
of shit is going to happen. Exactly.
We're
Everybody
gonna
will be
pick
in
a
town.
golf winner for the waste management.
Yes, everybody will be in town. It would be fun for that. And if you're looking at I don't know that I want to see Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl. Like, I just don't know.
Well,
I don't want to see San Francisco in that game at all.
yeah,
that's my
kind of a-
emotional hedge is that they're my preseason pick to win the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's interesting to see.
They were actually.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see a guy.
So it'd be my second straight
It's
year.
interesting to see Mr. Irrelevant, who was a third-string quarterback starting this year, be in the playoffs, win games, maybe go to the Super Bowl. That would be kind of interesting in the same way that watching a car crash would be, right?
Maybe, but I also used to ride for Brock Purdy all the time at Iowa State, and I'm starting to maybe
I think he's a legit quarterback.
I'm starting to
yeah.
contemplate whether or not maybe Iowa State fans didn't appreciate Brock Purdy.
Well, Iowa doesn't exist.
But Matt Campbell, everyone used to think Matt Campbell was a good coach. Brock Purdy leaves, Iowa State's a mess.
Yeah, with Purdy, and as far as those fans go, they did start posting things in Drinkin Bros Sports. So I guess Purdy played Mahomes in college.
and Hurts.
That's right. I'm sorry, Hurts. He played Jalen Hurts in college.
But he also played. No.
So
Did he
against
play Mahomes?
no, it was against Oklahoma, and so there was a picture of their stats in that game, and Purdy had more touchdowns than than Hurts in that game. So
Passing
people are
touchdowns? Hurts might have
six
scooted it a little
total.
bit.
6 total, 6-5. Hurts
Okay.
had 5 touchdowns in that game.
I just remember Purdy was in college for a while.
Oh yeah, he
seems
played
like-
all 4 years.
He seems like the type of guy that would play like
He
and then
started
redshirt
all
for
4
two
years.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he's-
Purdy's actually 32.
He's a graduate transfer.
Yeah.
So there's no way that Mike McCarthy keeps his job, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's
He
Sean
might.
Payton. Yeah, unless they get Sean Payton, I think he keeps his job.
But there, so Sean Payton allegedly, at least, interviewed with the Broncos, and everybody thinks that he's getting $20 million a year, no matter where he goes, right?
Why'd you want to go to the Broncos?
I
though?
know. What do you do with that?
Sure. So it's got to be major market. It's not going to be a small market team. Who's got coaching open? It's not going to be fucking Houston. No way, right?
Should be San
Gross,
Diego.
Either there's
Well,
no
LA.
There is no San Diego, but
Yeah.
yeah,
LA
it-
is locked in.
Let him move back.
it'll either be the Chargers or the Cowboys, right? And the Cowboys, like Jerry Jones, is not going to blink at spending $20 million to bring a Super Bowl, at least in his mind. They're still far away from that shit. But you know,
He doesn't think so, though.
well, he's wrong.
I look. I understand.
The
but
defense is really good, but they're year on, year out, year off, right?
Yeah.
So they were really good in 2019, and then the COVID year. Last year they were not very good. They got blown the fuck up. Then they let what's DeMarcus Ware go, or whoever the fuck it was, to the Broncos. But this year they were fucking good. So how are you going to keep that together? Vander Esch was hurt for half of this year.
I mean, you know,
And
Micah
they
Parsons.
need another receiver.
Micah Parsons, to me, is like the new prime Von Miller, where
Yep.
if he's on a defense, the defense is good.
Yep.
They're not going to not be good. D-Law is locked in there for a couple more years. Vander Esch is going to be there provided he's healthy. They have the defense is not going to be the problem.
Hey, look, if there's Dak sucks, but if there's one dude that can make Dak look reasonable, it's fucking Sean Payton.
I mean, it seemed Dak always says all the right stuff, and you listen to his teammates, and he puts the work in, and he's not like it's not his ego saying I want to play this style of football or anything. You never hear anything like that. So why does he year after year fail?
Hear me out. What if they bring in the man that brought the most out of Dak, Dan Mullen?
Ooh.
Oh God.
Like a QB coach, Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
Is he going to take that job?
Well, he doesn't have a job right now, does he?
Yeah, he's like
I
an
guess,
analyst.
Yeah. Re-whisper
Well,
Dak.
Analyst is a job, and there are literally no stakes.
Giants GM just said they plan to move forward with Jones as quarterback.
I mean, there's no evidence that they should get rid of Jones at this point.
No,
they got
it's just-
give him some fucking stuff first,
such
at least.
an odd situation.
Well, and here's the thing, though, right? They made the playoffs, so they don't have a good enough draft pick to just fucking draft a quarterback in the first round, and they shouldn't trade up for one and deplete the rest of their roster. So, worst case scenario, you keep building the roster with the picks you have, and then, I don't know, you're like, Daniel Jones doesn't work, and then you either trade for a veteran quarterback or draft a quarterback into a really good roster. Like, somebody like Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, fucking Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, like all these dudes started winning year 1, year 2, right? Year 3, like it didn't take long.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
Mahomes was year 1, and the rest of them were like
Yeah, but
year
that
2,
was
year
his
3.
second year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but year 2
Year
is about
2,
where it
yeah,
hits.
yeah.
How many's Daniel Jones played at this point?
This is 4 for him, I think?
Right, but that's what I'm saying though. So keep Jones as a placeholder, build up the rest of the roster, and then you can draft somebody to, get you all the way there, or put a vet in there that'll get you all the way there. But there's no point, unless that quarterback is literally like Burrow or Mahomes or something like that, there's no point going quarterback first and then building up the rest of the roster. And even the Chiefs didn't do that. The Chiefs went rest of the roster and then plugged Mahomes in.
Yeah, I agree, and it's so. I said this with Urlacher on the show. Like with how shitty the receivers are there, who knows how good that guy can be? Same with Will Levis at Kentucky. Like who fucking knows?
Well, they have.
Levis gonna stink.
It looks like they're going to
Levis
have
is gonna stink.
They're going to have the 25th pick, but there's a bunch of fucking receivers in this draft.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Jordan Addison is picked to go in the lower part of the first round.
Yeah.
And he's pretty fucking good. So
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here. We'll flip on over to college basketball, boys.
Let's go.
Is Alabama number 1 in the nation?
They're number 2, but they should be number 1. They're the best team in the country.
They are.
It's crazy. I watched.
But everyone kind of
Who's their coach?
everyone kind of stinks.
Nate
Nate
Oates.
Oates.
Okay.
Everyone can lose. It's an open year.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
It's a relatively open
elite
year, but I
team.
think it's getting a little more closed because I think Alabama might be that good.
I watched the Houston
not
game
Tennessee.
yesterday, and Houston was the exact same team we saw in person. They score about 50 points a game, and they lost to Temple.
You mean
Yeah.
the team that made the Elite Eight last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're awful.
They look gross, but they're really good.
They are really good.
They are not-
5 points they
They're not
scored
aesthetically
yesterday.
pleasing, but they are going to make the Sweet 16 minimum in every tournament.
Yeah.
Gross.
But
Meanwhile, Purdue is going to lose in the first weekend.
Yes.
Alabama's going to be in the top 2 probably the entire season and then get bounced in like the second round.
Nope.
That's what I feel
Nope.
like.
Because
too.
of
They-
3-point shooting, man.
No,
They play defense now.
They
and they're
have insane
But they are-
length and athleticism.
They
Yeah, but
are
you still gotta make
incredibly
shots,
young,
right?
They are incredibly young.
Aren't
pretty young.
Aren't like fucking 60% of their shots 3-pointers?
No, but Nate Oates, like his offensive philosophy is just fire threes.
They
for the most
do.
part.
It is a team that likes shoot. But here's the difference, because you're right. Every Alabama team has been like that, and the past Alabama teams were mostly just threes and we're fast and whatever. This team is threes and we're fast, and now they're really fucking long and really fucking
Athletic.
athletic. I just watched them beat the shit
Play
out of
really good
Missouri
defense.
2 days ago.
Well, look at that Griffin kid. He's pretty good. He reminds me of Jalen Suggs a lot.
Yeah, and they still have
But he's actually quite a bit better shooter than Jalen Suggs was at college.
They still have Quinterly as sort of like a backup, like veteran point guard to get in there. He's been there like all 4 years, whatever. I love this Alabama team. They have everything you fucking want, dude. Like the speed and the shooting, that's always been there. Now they are really long and really athletic and can play defense. Every single player on that team pretty much will make you adjust a shot just by putting their arm up. Like
What's that going to look like, though, when they have a cold night from 3?
they can win a rock fight depending on the team that they play. Like obviously, it always depends on your draw, right?
Yeah.
If they catch Houston on a cold night, you're probably fucked.
Yeah.
But if there's a lot of other teams they can catch on a cold night and adjust and win, no problem. Like this team is flexible.
This is the most wide open year that I can remember in the NCAA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Last
everybody's shitty.
Last year was pretty wide open too.
I wasn't shocked by Duke, for example.
Yeah, but were you shocked by North Carolina?
Not really, because I picked them. I had them to go to the Final Four.
And that could happen again this year because, like,
Yes.
they just can
Same
flip
dudes.
a switch if they
Same
want
dudes.
to.
Yep.
Well, they think that, but
Right.
we'll see.
Well, when you have that amount of talent just from recruiting, even if shit goes even if you're inconsistent, you can fucking string 3 or 4 wins together, right?
Right. And 3 or 4 wins together.
That's why the college basketball tournament is the most exciting tournament that exists, because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Right. But then that's why towards the later rounds too, when like a St. Pete's makes it so far, you're like, this game's gonna blow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
They went farther than I
doesn't.
thought, man.
They made the Elite Eight.
Yeah, but
went
like
4
then
rounds
they got
deep.
blown out in the Elite Eight. And
That's
like,
fine, but
They
I
shouldn't
mean,
even been there.
They should not have won one game.
Right, sure, but that's what I'm saying. When people get like, I'm all for those first round upsets, but when that team keeps making it to like the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, I'm like, oh man, this is only going to make the tournament worse.
Yeah. But by the way, this is where I start to tune into college basketball. So like tonight, Kansas, Baylor, I'm all in. ESPN tonight.
That's a bit of a dogfight, isn't it?
Kansas just got blown out at home by TCU.
Baylor's favored
good.
by 2 points in this game.
Is it?
And Kansas fucks
It's
around.
at Baylor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kansas is a team that like they're super athletic and super talented, but they will fuck around like an NBA team.
Yeah, and they also don't have a lot of depth. Like they are a relatively shallow bench. Like
You don't
they're-
have the time on the clock to fuck around like that in college.
You don't. No.
Everything is too fast, man. People like, I guess some of those teams back in the day that like to keep the score really low before the shot clock, especially. God, that fucking sucked. Where they're just passing around and fucking, they're calling
hilarious
plays and running plays that.
You mean team basketball?
Yeah. And the play is not even designed to put the ball on the basket. It's just designed to fucking waste time, I guess. I don't know. And now what's the clock? 30 seconds now?
It is down to 30.
It
Like when
should
I was
be
in
10
college, it was
seconds in college.
35.
It should be 10 seconds in college.
There should be
10
no
seconds.
shot clock.
Yeah.
Well, that's original basketball.
That was old school.
Yeah.
The way the game is meant
You
to
get
be
up
played.
10 and then you pass the ball for 40 minutes.
Calm down, Pistol Pete.
That's what you do. But I check back into college basketball now because, I mean, look, we got 3 games left in the NFL. I don't
just-
give a shit about the Pro Bowl.
It's good background noise.
It is. And so
It's better than
that'll
the
be
NBA.
on. Yeah.
The NBA's,
I can't check into the NBA until after the All-Star game, and then I'll check back
I don't
into
understand
that.
why the Pro Bowl exists.
It doesn't. They abolished
They
it.
switched it to flag football this year.
And skills competitions.
Yep.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the skills stuff. Who
I won't
cares?
watch
No,
the
they're doing
flag
some
football.
good. They're doing like best catch and stuff. So the dunk contest is it's a catch contest.
Yeah, I'll watch
I'll watch
the
that,
skills contest, but I won't watch a flag football game.
I would rather,
adults.
I would rather watch like a co-ed situation where it's half NFL players and half dumb dicks from the street. Didn't they do that one year with beach flag football or something? It was like
Gronk does.
it was celebrities.
Gronk Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was another. The NFL did one. Like
No, they
way
have a
They
back.
celebrity
did,
game.
and somebody blew
hurt.
out their ACL
Yes.
in beach flag
Who was
football.
it? Terrell Owens that did that.
It was. It might have been. It was somebody kind of big.
Why don't they give us what we really want?
Which
Oklahoma
is
drills.
Gladiator death.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Want
just bring
Oklahoma drills with pros.
no with Lizzo.
Joe's
old
versus
school
pros.
It's
yeah.
Lizzo. It's Lizzo doing Oklahoma drills with every running back in the NFL, and she wins
All of them.
almost all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
'cause
Derrick
she's the
Henry
best
takes it
athlete.
down.
Yeah, you could give Derek a 50-50 shot.
We'll switch on over to MMA. Giorgio, did you watch UFC this weekend?
I
did.
I watched it with Dan and Joel, and then I left as I usually do right before the big fights.
He leaves 2
Why?
fights in. It's insane. He
Why?
doesn't want to hang out with us for more than 45 minutes.
What is it? Like, is there a girl lined up, or is
No,
it just boredom, drugs?
I had to get up at 4 a.m. to drive my team to Shriner University for a tournament.
He remembered that as we were at Woodrow's. He's like, oh shit, I got to wake up and go to a fucking wrestling tournament at 8 a.m.
How long do those last?
The wrestling tournament?
Yeah.
It lasted from the weigh-ins were at 8, and
Okay.
we finished around 4. Then we got Mexican food, and then we drove back, so we got back around 6:30.
He had to
sounds like
drive his
hell.
team.
That sounds like hell. This is
Yeah, I drove 2.5
This is
hours.
what you get
back,
for-
2.5 hours back.
Giorgio.
Community service.
that's a nightmare.
This is community service, what you're doing.
This
I
is
basically have like 8 kids.
the only way I was ever able to have a party at my house in high school was because my parents only believed in one child to play sports, and it was my sister. She ended up playing college volleyball, but they always took her to travel tournaments and all this fucking shit. They'd be calling all fucking day.
Yeah.
And then one day they were just like, so we're going to Chicago next month for Kathleen's volleyball tournament. I thought they meant the whole family. I just graduated high school. I was like, whatever, I guess I'll go to Chicago, pack some weed. And they were like, I was like, where are we staying? And they're like, oh, it's just me, your dad, and Kathleen. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
That was the only good thing that ever came from any sport in the history of
Sports.
travel sports like that.
Of the Fox
was me
family?
getting to fucking throw a kegger at my house, because that sounds like hell to actually go to
Whoa,
and be
yeah.
at all fucking day.
You
I
threw
wouldn't
a
want to do
kegger?
it.
I have a 3-day-old infant at my house. And I love that thing more than life itself.
I'm sorry you
I don't
couldn't
love it.
connect
I don't
with
love it
your-
that much.
Sorry you couldn't connect with your parents over travel sports.
That's excessive, though. Going to Chicago and shit. Like I
did
see,
that
I
every
see that
weekend
a lot
growing up.
here. Yeah. Did you really?
Oh my God, Ross! Like, do you understand? Like every single weekend between the ages of 8 and 22, I was somewhere.
He lived at a wrestling prison camp
Yeah.
one
I
summer.
know, but your parents have to love you to do that.
My
So-
parents
Or
drove
hate
me.
him. They
you
did
don't
drop him
understand.
off at the prison
No,
camp.
You don't understand, Ross. There's an ego and an enjoyment. Like when your kid is the best kid at sports, you think you're a better parent than other people, and you rub it in their face. And the better your kid does, and this is like pre-Instagram, pre-anything. They're just like at the bar telling you how much better their kid is than yours.
If somebody,
funny.
if I'm at a bar and somebody's talking about their kid's athletic performance, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I asked
Or
the
we're
race.
fighting. It's
I
gonna be
s-
one of the two.
I
Yeah.
say, hey, are they white? And when they say yes, I say, oh, because everything you're talking about is nonsense.
Well,
then.
hold on. They could be a pitcher.
Yeah. What if it was a hockey player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to ask.
Also,
Yeah, but are they American?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
true, yeah.
that eliminates hockey.
Actually, Americans are really good at hockey.
We're getting better.
Uh,
We're
a
not
little
quite
bit.
Canada.
A little bit. There's this thing going on in Dallas that all the parents are talking about.
Are you talking about the drag shows where kids are invited?
No, there's this hockey shit going on in Dallas that is super intense, and like everybody from the nation is moving there for their kids. I keep hearing chatter about it at youth sports, and I'm just like,
Yeah, do you know why?
Not my world.
Do you know why,
Tyler
do you know why they
Sagan
picked
effect.
Dallas?
I don't.
A lot of money.
Oh, okay.
And hockey ain't a cheap
The-
sport.
and,
it's expensive.
honestly, the Stars do well in Dallas.
They do. Yeah, the Dallas.
Oh, they are
Stars.
very popular.
Yes.
You,
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if you go, so the couple times when the Blues made their Stanley Cup run a couple years ago, they played the Stars in not the Western Conference Finals, it was the round before that. And me and my buddy would go out to bars from St. Louis to watch the games, and yeah, there were Stars fans. I mean, Stars jerseys, fucking.
And that's when
everywhere.
I like cared about hockey back in the day. They've had like a pretty good history with like Eddie Balfour and
They won. They
Mike
gave Brett
Madonna.
Hull the Stanley Cup that St. Louis couldn't.
Yeah, maybe. Either way, UFC Saturday nights.
That's right.
How was it?
It was amazing. Something happened that I never thought could ever happen. We have a light heavyweight champion of Jamal Hill, who pieced up Glover Teixeira.
Did 5 rounds,
I got-
swept
so
him.
this is like this weird last like year and a half with light heavyweight division, with like Glover having this resurgence, and it's like, oh, a 40-year-old man can do it. And then he choked out freaking Jan, and then had this like fight of the year with Yuri, who's supposed to be this crazy wild man, and like you're really hype on this guy, and then you go out there and he just gets like pieced up, like he's just like
yeah, but he
the
didn't lose his
sparring
chin.
buddy.
He's 43 and he still took like 200 punches to the head.
Did he
head
retire
kicks.
afterwards?
He did,
Did he
yeah.
leave his
He did.
gloves in the ring?
No, but he retired afterwards.
I think that should be mandatory.
I think you should have to eat your gloves.
Yeah, eat them right
If
in
you
front of
lose,
everybody.
if
Sit
you
down.
win, you keep them. If you
I don't think he could open his mouth at that point.
The craziest thing that
pieced
happened was
blend them.
Shogun losing his fight, and then the Ukrainian fighter stunting over top of him, and then Brandon Moreno having to run out of the arena, getting like food cans. Like
I
everything
saw
tossed at
saw
him.
that. Yeah, so I
Because he
saw
beat Figgy.
Yeah, and Figgy was a hometown guy, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
Brazil's
doctor
a
stoppage.
fucking shithole, and that's all they have.
And
When they
every
lose that-
fight had a Brazilian
It's
fighter
true.
on the
Oh, did it
card,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
That's funny.
17 fights or whatever, and there was
Yeah.
at least one Brazilian fighter in each fight.
Brazil's a country that like skates by on it being like a large population and a tropical area. But like if you picked up Brazil, the exact same country, and put it in the middle of a part of the world that you did not regard, you would be like, oh my God, this is a nightmare land.
Yeah. Anybody else in that card worth noting?
Yeah, I mean, we had Gilbert Burns with an early submission, so that keeps him at the very top of that 170. Maybe he can put some stuff together over the next years for another title run.
Jessica Andrade,
Andrade,
maybe the most exciting female fighter in the world.
Yeah. Dan sleeping?
Nothing is
Oh,
exciting.
Johnny
about any of
Walker
this.
knocked out Paul Craig and then did the worm again.
I
Yeah,
think.
which
Wait,
is
hold
what-
on.
UFC boomed during COVID because they were the only thing going, and now it's fucking boring.
It's not
again.
true.
It is
Jones
true.
is back.
Simply
It is
not
true,
true.
because you're a fucking super fan, so you're gonna watch it. If it's any two people could fight each other, you're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But for most people, they're not watching this shit anymore.
The numbers are down. I think that's why John Jones is back.
John
he's
Jones
back
to let
thinks
go
he
of
wants to fight.
Francis.
John Jones took the time off himself to gain the weight naturally. That's what he said.
Naturally.
Which
Man is very natural.
he may be
With
natural when
everything.
it comes
He's
to
always
PEDs,
been
but
natural,
cocaine
yeah.
is definitely involved.
Yeah.
He probably had to quit cocaine.
He
so
has the
gained weight.
funniest line of all time when DC's just talking shit and he looks over, he's like, I beat you when I was high on cocaine.
Yep. That was an all timer for
But
sure.
the UFC over the past like year has become the WWE, right? With like they're trying too hard to push certain personalities and it's not working. Like Patty, it was popular until he fucking fake won his last fight.
No, and these guys called it out. You guys both said he was shitty
so.
in that last
We've
fight.
been saying he's
Yeah,
shit. He's just
proved it.
he's just big
not
because
there
he's
yet.
backed by Barstool.
Yeah,
Like,
and Rogan's been talking shit about, not talking shit about him. It's like, yeah, you didn't win that fight, dude. And there's just no stars there.
There are
And there
stars.
would, no, they're not.
No.
And there would be if they would pay them more.
Okay,
frankly.
so here's the biggest news in MMA right now was the Bilal No Swag Muhammad interview with Joe Rogan, the MMA podcast, where he talks about being embedded in the Khabib camp. Basically, it's crazy, and he's like, dudes don't have this kind of discipline unless you're Muslim. You have to have your hair cut a certain way. If you look tired one day, Khabib comes and takes your phone away because he thinks you're playing with your phone at night because you're not getting enough good rest. He says the pressure that they have on top, the way he's talking about this, is just like uncontrollable. Like none of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys can do anything about it. It's like there's just tight pressure that Khabib and they're
Georgia,
building
you're
a
not
system
helping
behind.
that cause.
Yeah, this is nonsense.
dude.
This is like you went to a certain kind of fucking restaurant one time and it was just an amazing experience for you, and now you're searching for it for the rest of your life. Khabib was he was one dude. He was really
But
fucking
he's
good.
breeding this like
No,
this-
he's not. He's breeding boring fuck faces.
Islam's a more exciting Habib.
I think Islam was good before.
They all
Khabib
look
got
like a
involved
little
with him.
just different
No, he's
version of
always
each
been
other. There's a lot of
approached by
inbreeding there. And when they showed that video, what it's actually like there, where they train and live and all that shit, holy fuck, man. I mean, there's
Just killers.
nothing to do
killers.
but kill each other. And if you don't kill each other, then you have no life. I mean, you're pushing rocks up a hill.
I mean, you work out all day, every day. You know, you all line up in the morning. You know,
Yep.
put the gloves on.
Yep.
Habib tells you what you're working on for the
it's
day.
soccer, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wildly popular in certain spots internationally, but in the U.S., UFC is fucking going way.
You
down
got to
right
get
now.
who's the next American
signs-
dude?
I don't
Signs
care.
their- Who would sign their
Nickel.
kids up for that?
Yeah.
I don't care if they're American or
Look,
not. It's
okay,
got to be
here,
exciting. Like,
right.
who's the next Connor?
You
Is
want
the
the Great
better
White Hope?
question.
It's Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel, 3-time
right, well,
PS.
let's not put our eggs in the Bo Nickel
We are
basket.
putting our eggs in the Bo Nickel basket.
That we can do better than Bo Nichols.
No,
a
we
star.
can't.
Yes, we can.
No,
What, in
can't.
America?
Yes.
Probably not.
Then who do you got?
Probably.
If we got to go through the fucking list right now.
I would rather
USA.
watch.
Well, but it should come to your minds. Like that's how.
Henry
That's
Cejudo?
where we're at.
I mean, the biggest star in America right now is going to be Sugar Sean, who's going to.
Yeah, and that's not a
but
star.
he lost, right?
Yeah.
Last
No.
I would
fight.
rather
Well,
go on Twitter.
he
To
won, but
go to
he-
Fight
that's what I'm
Haven
saying.
on Twitter and just
No,
watch
he
regular
didn't
people
lose.
fight each other in the mall. It's more entertaining than UFC
Yeah.
is. It's fucking bullshit.
We got John
hold
Jones
on.
back.
The thing that made UFC great early on, and then with the personalities later on, was the fucking brutality and the attitude and the characters rather, and they're just not fucking there
Here's
anymore.
how
Best part
you-
of the
There,
UFC
there's
was
not
the
American.
fighting, and it's still fighting, and it's an evolving sport, and it's great, and
It's evolving into fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Here's
Yeah.
how you bring back the UFC: pop-up fights,
Guns.
in a mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Waffle House.
Just two guys. It's, there's no octagon or anything.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah.
two guys. Sure, you tell them the time. You bring the cameras. No one at the place knows about
They got
it.
to wear tap out shirts.
Yeah.
Sure do. You go old school with it, but
But every champion, if you look at it right now, so there is no heavyweight champion.
But this was a pay per
There's
view event on Saturday.
light
night,
heavyweight
right?
champion Jamal Hill. So Jamal Hill, American. There we go. We got one.
punching, stand-up fighter,
But this was a pay per view event, right, on Saturday.
Yeah.
$75.
Yeah. It
$74.99.
got bumped.
You
You
had two
bumped
title
Who buys
fights.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's two title fights.
It's crazy to me too that so UFC is like I pay about like what $200 a year, Dan, for MLB TV,
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah.
right? And how much does Red Zone cost?
$289.
$289.
Yeah.
They're asking you essentially for the UFC to pay 50% of what every fucking Major League Baseball game and
Yeah, you're seeing grown men fight in a cage.
right.
You're
Yeah,
not
but
watching a
that's-
baseball
That's my
game.
biggest
Yeah,
issue
but
with
the-
it too.
but the
Yeah.
Right,
guy-
they
but
ask
the-
you get
the team salary for the baseball team, the worst baseball team, is more than any of these UFC guys will make in their entire
Guys,
career.
why do you have such a hard time grasping that you have to supplement this sport right now because it's in its infancy? Like, we have to
my
use this
God.
pay-per-view model
It's,
until the
it's
sport...
30 years old. That's not
You're
infancy.
charging more than Holyfield
pay-per-view
Tyson.
model is
like
yeah, that's very old.
If you're gonna give
Inflation,
me-
Ross, inflation.
Oh, if you're gonna give, but if you're gonna make me pay $75 for a
you
fight,
don't have to go to the bar.
that's where you guys went. But even you're saying, if you're a fan at home, do you pay for it, or do you legally stream it?
I pay for it.
Sure don't.
Because I'm
George,
lazy,
you
and I want it through my Apple TV. I want it nice and crisp. I want the audio to be all good.
No, I
you
get it.
know?
It's something you like, so you want to give it money.
And the
but there's
homies
plenty
will
of
come
degenerate
over.
pieces of shit who are smoking weed out of like an Apple and,
Sure.
and having sex with
They can
Joran
illegally
Vandersloot's
stream it.
girlfriend who
The market
who are
corrected
streaming it
itself.
illegally.
That's fine. That's fine. It's all fine. Everything is okay.
If you're a business and you cater only to the core, you won't be a business very long.
I don't think that's true.
Unless
Actually,
you're, unless you're a,
Roman fighting
unless you're a
cage.
commodity
there are so
business.
many businesses out there that like just focus on a niche and like know their lane. And
businesses that are
they
worth
do well.
$100 billion.
Yeah, they're gonna have to They're gonna have to low scale the production value if they want to start doing
Like
that.
hockey knows it's hockey, and they appeal to hockey fans. They're not trying to get like a broader audience.
Hockey is like the extreme of baseball, which is they only appeal to hockey fans to an extent, but they also what they do is they know that they can whip up the regions.
Hockey
right?
fans have the highest median income of any other fan of any other sport on earth.
Yeah, but the UFC too is also they're gonna get every hardcore fight fan to buy the pay-per-views. But then with like the bigger cards like John Jones and everything, every casual just somebody that's heard the name John Jones, like, oh, I want to watch that fight.
Yeah.
Like it's still gonna happen. It's
It
not.
is, but you
It's not
need
slowly
stars,
growing. It's like
but you need stars to buy those.
There's
Like I didn't buy
something-
this fight.
Like,
on
look
Saturday.
at boxing. Boxing fucking sucks, but they have stars, so they get paid more than anybody else.
Who are the
boxing's
stars in
boring.
boxing right now besides Tyson
They,
Fury?
they're fucking
And
they're internet
Wilder.
stars.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia, for example,
Who's not a good fighter.
I
No.
agree with
And
you.
I think he's gonna
I
get
agree with you,
smashed by
but he gets
Devonta.
fucking paid.
There is
and people
also-
watch that
Look,
shit.
Again,
man,
these are
I will
established
just say
sports,
this.
100-year leagues that we're talking about.
Oh my god, dude!
I'm the
It's been
most-
40 years.
Versus 100. Give it another 20 years.
When was Roman Greco wrestling started? It's the same thing. except
Greco-Roman,
And,
The
well, Greco
Olympics,
means Greek, so a
the
long
original.
time ago.
Yeah.
pre-Rome actually.
Yeah, pre-Rome.
So
I
they've had a plenty of time to figure the
Romulus
fuck out.
was naked penning dudes.
Yep.
Before he
Yeah.
even said-
Rebranded.
They have
quite a
plenty
few
of
times.
time to figure it the fuck out.
I think
And,
they've got a problem with competition too, right?
But there hasn't been an established league since then.
Like the fights in UFC are not better than the fights in Bellator or whatever.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
They're-
They're not.
Yeah, the
UFC is
the
clearly
UFC has
established
90% of the talent that like Bellator has a few big names, but no, UFC's got 90% of the top
it's still
guys.
widely known as where is the best league.
It's
Yeah.
widely known doesn't mean fucking dick.
I mean, they're going to have to
Widely
figure something out,
regarded.
man. Look, basketball and football were the same way for a while. They were way, way behind other sports, basically.
well, they also
Baseball,
merged with other leagues.
But
right?
that's what I'm saying, right? The storyline, they didn't have stars, or they're only one side maybe had stars, or they didn't have big enough stars to encapsulate larger
Yeah.
than a niche audience. So what they did, the storyline became league versus league.
Yeah. Well, the shitty.
Well, they just did that with Bellator and Ryzen.
And in fact,
the
that's
not-
why with
the
baseball too.
The ABA had bad infrastructure but big stars, and the NBA had
cool
good
rules.
infrastructures and cool rules. They just merged the two, brought all the stars over. UFC's got to do. They got to buy PFL and buy Bellator or something.
Yeah.
Because you need a feeder system. The reason that we don't know who
Dana
like,
White's Contender Series.
No, that's not it. It's, you know what I mean? It's got to be like a minor leagues. But
isn't.
the reason that we
It is,
don't,
though.
I know it kind of is, but that's not really what it is. The every other major sport has a feeder system that is very visible. Like the reason we get excited about NBA or NFL, we watch some of these guys play for 4 years sometimes in college football before we ever see them on an NFL team.
Yeah.
You don't get that with fighters. It's not.
the name recognition.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
care. To
You guys want
know.
college
I do
MMA?
care.
You care if they're like from where you're from or something like
Yeah,
that.
but like
Because
they
it-
have those feeder systems.
No,
and
no,
you
no,
just don't
'cause
pay attention. There's a
that's-
bunch of local
no,
fucking.
Yeah, but they
NCAA
fucking-
MMA championships.
That'd be sick.
yeah, I'm fine with
would,
that.
Oh my god!
I would
Can you
watch the
imagine
fuck
a
out of that.
fucking
for UFC.
Dudes that are fighting for their life
UFC?
in the contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Also, can you imagine
For
a college basketball type crowd at a UFC event where
It'd be amazing.
it's your like Missouri fighting Kansas, Ohio State fighting
Yes.
Michigan?
Yes, it'd be amazing.
Team duels MMA.
Yeah.
College.
My
No
God.
watch
wrestling.
that.
No
and
wrestling.
then
no wrestling.
and because the fans are crazy, it would be televised, and because it's televised, I would know who that dude is from the time he's 18 years old.
That
Yep.
might be the
You know what I
biggest
mean?
college sport ever.
Oh my God!
Oh,
well,
yeah.
you're not going to get bigger than the fucking
No,
Rose
I
Bowl,
think
probably.
you
but
could.
Yeah. No, you're not
Do you
gonna.
know how much poon you'd pull as like a NCAA?
Maybe, but you're not
event?
gonna put a fucking 100,000 people in a stadium to watch a fight because you can't see that far.
No, but
I-
you'd sell out the basketball arenas.
Oh, for sure, 100%. 20,
You wanna see-
25,000.
but, like
Yeah.
the narrative behind it, like
My
but
secret wish is that bare knuckle boxing got big enough to like
it's too
never will.
hillbilly.
stars.
It's too hillbilly.
It never
the
will.
sport is
God
not that
damn
great.
it though, but it's fun to watch and people's faces tear off. I love it.
Yeah, it's too much.
But yeah, a feeder system where I fucking got to know somebody over because right now they just jam it down your throat. Sean O'Malley fights a bunch of nobodies. Like, oh, he's got cool hair and his name's cool. He's going to be the next guy. Well, it doesn't fucking work that way, does it? Sometimes the guy that's really good is named fucking John Smith or some dumb shit like that.
It's
So
usually
you have to
not
build a
American.
brand around him. You know
Igor
what I mean?
Benizanov.
The problem with the UFC is the biggest star in the UFC is Dana White, and he's not necessary anymore. He did his job.
Well,
he
that's
doesn't
not what he said.
necessarily
He said
need to be the face.
if he leaves UFC, that only hurts him.
It,
That's what he
Well-
said in that interview.
I think it would
wonder
hurt
why.
the UFC though.
Why?
You got to have some face out there. You got to have one interesting interview
Yeah.
afterwards, just one.
because he
And it's always him.
refuses
Needs
to
to
build
be
up the
Joe.
stars in the sport
that's
because he doesn't want to pay
100%.
them.
100%.
Most of these guys though, they don't even speak English, and it's like it's tough.
Neither did the fucking Iron Sheik, bro.
I know. I wasn't into
I
him
mean,
either.
Yeah, but
They don't
everybody
have to
else
learn
is.
a lot of English. Chimaev barely knows how to speak English, but he says "I smash," and people love
Kill
him.
them all. I kill them all.
I mean, I guess. I just can't get
They
it.
not.
I just don't understand. Like, why not hire Triple H to do your brand development? So, I mean, for real, he's the one that
No.
he like really helped WWE because the talent dropped off after him and Stone Cold and everybody left.
It's time to play the
He's
game.
he's the only reason it stayed alive for as long as it did.
Yeah. And now McMahon is back, taking over as CEO. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. Just click a 5-star and walk away. And then, as always, bet with us or against us on mybookie.com. We will have an NFL show here in a couple days, and hopefully we'll have some picks because this is really goddamn tough for the last 4 here, which also makes it fun. Sunday's going to be a blast because if Mahomes is healthy, who fucking knows? It should be fun. For D'Anthony Holloway, Delco Dan, Hot Bob, Papa Giorgio, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Monday Morning Recap. Good morning, everyone.